Join me today as we talk about the movie Late Night with the Devil. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about the movie Late Night with the Devil. Now, I talked about this movie in one of the podcast episodes a little bit, but I watched it again recently because it was on Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In, the Halloween special. And so, since I've been talking about a bunch of movies lately, specifically horror movies, figured I may as well go ahead and talk about this one too, a little bit more in depth here. So, the movie, well, I will say that there's really only one cast member that I think is reasonably worth talking about, and that is David. I'm horribly going to mispronounce his last name. I apologize. Dastmalchian, something like that, who plays Jack Delroy. Now, David, you might recognize if you have seen the second Suicide Squad movie where he played the Polka Dot Man. He also is in The Dark Knight, where he plays, he's the crazy person that works for the Joker that Harvey Dent captures and threatens to shoot, that Batman stops him. It's a bit part, but there he is. And I believe he also plays the Harkonnen Mentat in the more recent version of Dune. Can't think of his name. He was played by Brad Dourif in the 80s version. One of the few characters thought the 80s version did more justice. But anyway, so he plays a late night TV talk show host. This is supposed to be the Halloween episode from 1977. We also get a voiceover from Michael Ironside introducing everything at the beginning. So what we have is a guy who his show was, reasonably popular, and he was friends with all the right people in Hollywood who were part of like a secret society that is modeled after the whole Bohemian Grove thing, which, if you ever look into that, like, it's apparently a genuine, not so secret anymore, I guess, society that meets in California and worships a giant owl and a bunch of other weird baloney. It's a bunch of occultist stuff. And so it's modeled after that. And then his wife dies of cancer, and he comes back earlier than people expect. The ratings aren't great. This is kind of like the last big push to see if they can manage to do anything. And so it's a Halloween episode. His opening bit is he's got a psychic on there. And if you've seen anything about like fake psychic stuff, you can tell this guy's a fake by how he's doing everything. And then he gets somebody on there who used to be like a fake psychic, but now makes his money debunking these kind of acts. And so he, goes to the guy's shtick and explains how it all works. But then they bring out a girl who survived this cult to Abraxas. They were having children with the express intent of sacrificing them to satisfy the demon Abraxas. And so the FBI raided their compound, and it burned to the ground. And an interesting side note, they used actual footage of an actual FBI raid in, I believe, Los Angeles against the Symbionese Liberation Army, I want to say, is who they raided. And the compound burned down and most people died. Seems to be a trend where the FBI goes places sometimes. But she survived, and she claims to be possessed by a demon. And there's a psychologist there, and so they bring her on the show, and They kind of, they do their back and forth, and there's a bunch of other like side stuff in the background going on, talking to the producer and everything else, and it culminates in the psychologist bringing out the demon to prove that she's really possessed. And there's gonna be some spoilers for the end here, and I'm gonna say that because this is a newer movie. So the guy who's like, hey, this is all bunk, is like, here, let me show you. And so he does something, and it looks like some horrific things happen, and then like he snaps his fingers, and it looks like nothing happened. And he explained that, well, you guys are very suggestive, which he noted earlier in the movie. And he's like, and everyone's like, well, wait, what just happened? He's like, well, just rewind the tape and just look at what was actually recorded. And you see it's just him talking to the other guy, and the other guy's reacting as if things were happening, but they're not. So it was all suggestive. And so that's when the girl is like, well, I mean, the easy way to disprove it would be, let's just rewind the tape to when the demon supposedly possessed me and see what it actually recorded. Because, I mean, she levitated at one point. And so then it comes to the recording, and it's exactly what everyone saw. And that's when everyone's like, oh, that's not good. And that's when the girl, like, goes full, like, possessed by the demon, like her skull splits in half, and there's like a glowing vortex inside, and then she starts killing people. So, yeah. It's a hell of a movie. It's very well acted. You definitely, if you've seen like older talk shows, you definitely get the vibe of, they've replicated a talk show facade very well. You've got some interesting character interactions. You've got the is it real, is it not, up until the final moment of, oh yeah, it is, probably. And then overall it's well acted, well directed. I liked it overall. It's probably still on Shudder as of this recording, which is in early November 2024. And if not, it's already on home video and everything. If it's got I think it should have a physical release. It should have definitely have a physical release by now, because it was in theaters well before it was on Shudder. So if so, I'll link to down at the bottom to if you want to buy it off Amazon. It's an affiliate link, so we do get something for that. You're not charged extra though. It's just for directing sales that way. So if you do want to buy it physical form, always helps us. If not, like I said, I think it's still on Shudder, and it's probably elsewhere. If it's on Shudder, it might also be on AMC Plus. I don't know exactly how those two interact, because sometimes things are on one and not the other, even though it's the same company. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I think the movie's worth checking out. For a newer movie, like newer horror movie, it's pretty good. I'd say it's easily a solid, it's probably a solid 8. Now that might be some recency bias in that, but I'm probably going to go with that. I would probably lean against this being suitable for kids, given the subject matter and some horrific things that happen at a couple points in the movie. But like 14, 15, they've probably already seen worse on the internet. So, and like I mentioned in the description, it does involve possession, obviously, and demonic type things. So I know some people are not too keen on those things in their movies. So if you're one of those people, this probably isn't the movie for you. But otherwise, like I said, it's fairly well acted. Most of the cast are Australian, but you'd never know it due to lack of accents, except for the main guy, David. He's not. He's an American. And on Joe Bobbie, he's one of those, like, he got the script, and it was like, man, this is spectacular. Like, sign me up. So he was really happy with it. And they did a lot of research into like the talk show hosts who didn't make it. So it's like Carson's old competitors, basically. Guys that went up against like Jay Leno and David Letterman and just didn't make it. So they incorporated that into the look and feel of everything, and just the style of the clothes. and it's all spot on for late 70s TV show host type stuff. So definitely worthwhile. Very, period accurate and everything. The found footage gimmick, to my mind, doesn't really work because, I mean, it was broadcast. Supposedly this is broadcast, and so the found footage is actually like the behind the scenes stuff, not the other. And I don't know why anyone would be walking around recording anything. So like that's it's a little gimmicky, but you wouldn't even know that if it weren't for the voiceover. So just ignore that if you really want to. But again, the voiceover is by Michael Ironside. Michael Ironside's awesome. So Anyway, if you like horror movies, and it's a newer one, definitely worth checking out. I believe it was released last year, or early this year. So definitely worth checking out. Let me know what you guys think down in the description, down in the comments, or not the description. I'll handle the description. The did you have you seen it before? What'd you think of it? Are you going to try to watch it based on what I've told you? And if so, when you do watch it, let us know what you thought. Where did you see it? Did you see it in theaters? I kind of regret not going to the theater to watch this. It ended up being good. But yeah, other than that, just let me know your general thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And sharing and commenting are the best ways to help us grow the channel. We appreciate all of you who are doing that. And yeah, so other than that, that's about all I've got to say. So see you folks at the movies.